Hello everybody, my name's Howl and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at how you run a Hydra team. Now, building a Hydra team isn't all that hard, but actually, running the team can be the hardest part. And I've gotten quite a few, comments about this topic. So when it comes to my Trunda team, I have certainly a very unique Trunda team and I might be swapping it up recently. I'm not too sure. But if we take a look here, I have Trunda, Ashnar, Togron, Gerptuk, Lanicus, and Lamasu. Why did I blank on that? I just want to make sure that my Lanicus is in her proper build. And at the end of the video, we'll actually take a look at everybody's builds and make sure they have the right stuff on. But I do know that basically all of them do. Yeah, should be good there. So let's go ahead and hop into this, and I'll just kind of give you guys the general gist of how you run a Trunda team, because I know a lot of you guys are really struggling. I've gotten so many comments, and I really want to be able to help out. So for me, it all starts with just making sure that I get all my buffs up, all my debuffs up. We want to make sure that we have at least one of our hexes up. We want to start with an Ashnar swap form, then an A3 because we need the provoke. And then once we have that, we want to hold off on our damage boost. We can give Trunda a shield because we do have protection on our Gerptuk. So that does leave a option there. We want to just continue just running this at a very basic level. Nothing crazy is going to be happening for at least the beginning. We're not going to do anything extra. It's going to be pretty normal here. But as soon as we are able to, which we are able to now, we're going to put out a decreased defense with Ashnar. And once that happens, we are getting ready to be able to smack. So we just need one more turn on Ashnar, and then we are good to go. So we're just gonna, hit this head. It doesn't really matter. We are really just focused on getting Ashnar's turn. As soon as we get Ashnar's turn, we then nuke with Trunda because then we have decreased defense out. We don't have weaken or anything, which isn't too big of a deal. We're not really worried about that. But we would like to just extend our buffs for now. We don't really want to waste anything. If we can put out some more buffs, that would be ideal, like we did there. Make sure we don't get stolen, and now we nuke. Now that you've nuked, the biggest thing is that you need to make sure that you cycle as quickly as possible. Now this does definitely change depending on your account and everything. For me, I'm going to try and get a decreased defense out on the weakest head. I'm going to hold off on doing my Gerptuk's A3 because actually in this situation we need to let our Lamasu go ahead and take her turn because Trunda is actually going to get cleansed here. Then we're going to hit this head. Now that Trunda is pretty much ready, we're going to swap over to Ashnar's first form. We're going to put out as many buffs as we possibly can. We are going to put out Gerptuk's debuffs. We're going to put out Hex if we can. Now that we are pretty much ready, we're going to spread buffs one more time. We are not going to activate any HP burns, and we're going to smack. So that wasn't the greatest start, only 600,000. I can usually double this, so I'm actually going to go ahead and redo this, and then as soon as I do that smack again, I'll come back to it, and then we can continue on. So I'll be right back. All right, we are back in a similar situation. It may be a little bit different. I'm not too sure exactly how well this is going to go because we do have a little bit less on the side of buffs. But if we do get an extension, okay, and we didn't get an ally attack, that is awesome. So we need to, man, we missed out. Okay, yeah, that's a problem. We missed out on the weaken on the weakest head. So this isn't going to be that big of a smack. We're going to have to hit a head that isn't ideal. The next best head to hit is, I believe this, honestly, it might still just be, I don't know. Let's go with this, see what we get. Yeah, only 300k. Oh my goodness. Man, this is some awful luck. All right, I guess we will try again. Not something I really wanted to have to do, but here we are. All right, we are here once again. This time we have a lot more stuff going for us. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buffs. Intercept doesn't really count, so we have 8 buffs. We have all of our debuffs, and we have an A2. And we are getting so unlucky. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna run it. We're gonna continue on the run just so I can kind of show you guys how it works. I'm not gonna be keeping this. This is uh, this is not great for me. But like I said, I will be working on teams throughout the week, and if we are able to find something new that works for me, that works really well, because I really want to shoot for about 20 billion. So I guess it's really just dependent on what I'm able to find. But yeah. So when we get started back up, we're looking to continue to get Trunda's debuffs out because we want to get fully maxed out on the uh, debuffing damage boost from Nature's Wrath and Coronet. As soon as we max that out, that's, the sooner we're able to put out real damage. Now, when it comes to this, we really want to get another, we're basically looking to cycle exactly how we did the first time, but just again. And by that, I mean we are looking to get a decreased defense out with all of our debuffs. And the sooner and the quicker you're able to get your full cycle around, the sooner and able you're going to be able to get more damage out. And that means, you're going to, in general, get a higher damage key. The best teams in the entire game, they base things off of their cycle time, and that's why champions are run so slow. Because a higher speed champion will take, and I take what I'm saying with somewhat of a grain of salt because it really does depend on the team. But let's say like the Theodosia teams, they're really focused on if you're able to cycle incredibly quickly. And in that, that means that you have to get all of your ally skills fully reset in the time that it takes to get there. And that means that you really need to just put out a whole lot of damage and keep your cooldowns moving at a good pace. So we are going to be, I think we're going to be smacking this head, because if we are able to get this one low, this should be one of the weaker heads. See, we got a little unlucky there. This now means that we really have to try and focus this head down, and we are going to lose some damage. And teams that don't full cycle, and by full cycle, I mean get all of their stuff around by the time that you have all 4 heads down, they really struggle. So if I'm not able to get this head down, this could be pretty much run ending essentially. We're just going to reset. I'm going to try an A1 to see if I can knock it out. Okay, there we go. We're not completely screwed, but we are in a very poor situation to get maximum damage. Now, not every cycle is going to be maximum damage, but those amazing keys are basically maximum damage every single cycle, and that's how you get record-breaking damages. So we can buff up, we can hit the weakest head, and another 400 mil. Again, this is certainly not my best run, but it does kind of show you guys what the cycle can look like for you. Now for me, like I said, this is the lower damage end, and what I mean by that is that you're going to see a lot of fluctuation in your damage when you're running a Trunda team, because the biggest thing in all of the different runs, because they all have pretty much the same gear or a little bit different, but the biggest thing is that the best runs, they just had the best cycles. They're all running basically the exact same speeds, incredibly similar gear. The main, defining factor of the team and the run, the record-breaking runs, was that person, the driver, were they able to get the perfect run? Because to a degree, not a single run has been perfect yet. We have not, I don't think we've seen any teams that get, the perfect cycle. Uh, but we have seen some that have gotten a lot of good cycles. So you see right now I'm just wasting turns, we're burning turns. because we need these heads to take turns. That means that my champions are too fast, which helps me learn what's wrong with mine. And if once you're able to assess the issues with your team, the sooner you're going to be able to get a lot more damage. My goodness, we are taking a while. There we go. So now that that head's taken a turn, we can go ahead and just throw the shield on there because we have protection. We can buff up, we can hit this, and then we can A2. And now we got a full cycle. Full cycle meaning we were able to take out all of the heads at the same time. Now we're going to move around as quickly as we can. With this, we want to make sure that we're hitting the tankiest head in case Trunda ally attacks, so that we don't kill it. With a better build, we definitely would have killed it there, but with our build, it isn't the best in the entire game. See, I messed up right there, because now we're not going to be able to get our Gerptux debuffs back up, which means we actually lose a lot of damage. But this is a decent cycle. Another, what was that? We were around 800 beforehand. I mean, another 400, 300, not great, but an okay cycle. And if you're able to continue this out through the entire time, I would probably end up around 5 billion, maybe 4.5 billion if I had to guess. Because usually with this team specifically, we do take a lot of turns because my champions are a good bit quicker. So we are going to be, we're going to be losing a good bit of the turns that we should be getting otherwise, and that's the main reason that I'm looking at changing to a different team, because I don't want to be continuously losing all of these turns that I could be gaining. Here we're gonna make sure that we get debuffs out. We're going to block their debuffs, or block their buffs, because we don't want to deal with Wrath and Suffering. Yeah, I don't know why I never remember Suffering's name, but I don't, and it is what it is. But yeah, we're just waiting, we're cycling, we're getting around, and as soon as we can, we're going to be going with the Ashnar A2. If you guys would like to see a team with Michelangelo and Lydia, yeah, Michelangelo and Lydia, or Michelangelo and Ruella, an epic champion, or we could also be seeing Michelangelo with any debuff or single target. So let's say Ramontu, Riho, any of these champions, I could do a team for any of those, because Michelangelo, it works very similar to Trunda, and the fact that he has that full debuff spread, which is incredibly strong and something that can really just make a team. Because you may not have AoE for some of the different things you need, but you could have single target. And if you have single target, you can easily make something work with Michelangelo, or in my case, we have Ashnar. So we're actually gonna get screwed over here unless we're able to get a Lamasu turn. Yeah, so we did get screwed over, which means that our cycle is just gonna take a little longer. That it happens. It is what it is. Like I said, not every cycle is going to be perfect, but the more amount of good ones you can get, the better. So this time we're actually just going to go to Ashnar's second form here, because we clearly do not want to keep wasting a whole bunch of time. We need to get around to actually doing some real damage. So if we can get some proper buffs out there, we can then give ourselves the option to A2. There we go. We get a pretty solid cycle there. Now we need to hold off. And then we can try to get around. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and boost Trunda. We're going to boost our turn meter. Now we're going to just hit a tanky head. And then we don't have really any option but to try and get around as quick as possible. So whatever turn meter boosting we can do, and if we don't get to do any, it's just it's a bad cycle, and it happens. Okay, we were able to get around. We're gonna miss out on Gerptux stuff again, which really sucks, but a few billion is better. Well, a few 100 million is better than nothing, and we'll take what we can get. So hopefully this little explanation can really help you guys when it comes to running your Trunda teams. I know this isn't an entire run, and there is things that does happen throughout runs that can make it a little bit more iffy, but you know, what can you do? We will take what we can get for sure, and hopefully that helps you guys, uh, uh, even if it's only a little bit. Now, I know there hasn't been too many really in-depth running videos, and if you guys want to see an entire run once I've really found a team that works for me, I'm more than happy to do that for you guys. If you guys want to see things with like Michelangelo, things with Michelangelo with Riho or Ramatsu or any of these champions. I think Ramatsu, let me double check. Yeah, Ramatsu would be the best option because he does decrease defense, weaken, decrease speed, and block buffs all in one ability. And when you run him with Michelangelo or Ashnor, you can turn this into just a flat out AoE, decrease defense, weaken, decrease speed, and block buffs. And he also has a buff strip that can really help clutch up things like the reflect damage that suffering and things put out. And now that is, I think a Ramatsu plus Michelangelo team could be incredibly fun and very free to play friendly, because I feel like one of the biggest things that people struggle with is finding a proper team for themselves if they are a more free to play player or earlier game player or really just unlucky because you know that does happen. But yeah, if you focus this A2, that's the only ability that you would need booked is his A2. The rest of him isn't all that important. I guess he can act as a if you don't have great resistance on your champions, you can throw him with some resistance, and he can make sure that he's taking things from mischief, which can be okay. Not certainly not something that you want to just make the main point of him, because of course this A2 is the main point. But he can bring that little extra help. So yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, while we're here, while I'm making this video, I'm going to try and keep it under, you know, 20-25 minutes. But a quick team that I could throw together for you guys that could really, really help a lot of you is Trunda, and then my Mikey isn't fully leveled yet. Yeah, he's level 56. Actually, I will be doing a video on a Dark Elves team very soon as I pulled Ziklik, and he's really, really cool. Him with Fatalis and any of the other Dark Elves can be amazing, so I will be doing a video on him as soon as I get him taken up and all that fun stuff. So yeah, what was I doing? There we go. Ramontu, Mikey. Now we have really all of our stuff covered. So yeah, we have decrease defense, weaken, decrease speed, and block buffs. We have our buff cleanse. And then we have a champion that can work as a mischief tank. And then we need some decent free-to-play options for resetting our cooldowns. We need Hex. We already have decreased speeds. We don't need somebody like a. Okay, actually, decent idea here. I'm thinking as I go. I don't usually plan these things. You know, you can have Nia inside of a hex set that covers your hex, that also covers some other stuff. Or something you could do is you could put your Ramatsu into hex, and then you could put your Mikey into 9-piece Feral. This then allows you to that allows you to cover basically everything. Then you get 5 debuffs in Feral, which is really, really nice. And you have most things covered at that point. The last things you really need is just damage boosting. And for a lot of you guys, that could be just buffs, that could be some other stuff. But um, I guess some of the better free to play options, and someone actually I mentioned last time I did one of these videos, is where is he? There he is. Okay. So yeah, we could do Archmage because he's going to be giving us increased speed, increased crit rate, and increased crit damage. And then we just need an increased attack champion. A really good increased attack champion could be anybody like yeah, Padraig or Duchess or, you know, Brogni, any of them can be really good. I guess for this example, as more of a free to play option, I want to say is probably going to be Mithrala. Now Mithrala, I guess she covers our Hex, so you could end up going without the Hex on Ramattu, and you can just trust your Mithrala to put out Hex. And then again, you want to put Mikey and Feral. Yeah, you could put like Ramattu inside of maybe Provoke gear or something. You could have two champions in Provoke because really the debuffs are going to be covered by Mikey. He's going to be putting them out in Feral, and Feral works with debuff spread. It's a very, very nice thing that you can have for your team that can help you boost damage by a lot. So percentage wise, we have what? Let's see here. Yeah, we have Strengthen, Shield, that's 2. And then we have increase defense and attack, which is 4. Then we have these 3 buffs here, which is 7. So 7 protected buffs, if you have both of those guys in 9-piece protection, is 35% damage. You have 7 buffs, debuffs being spread in Feral, which means that's another 35%. That is a 70% damage boost. Which I mean isn't the best, but it's definitely not bad. And for a somewhat free to play option, I really do like that. And then on this last spot, I would probably put in Donnie if I had him. I don't have Donnie. He really helps cycle your entire team. He works kind of like a Kymar. And so I'm going to throw Kymar in here just as that final slot. But if you have Donnie, I would say he is probably a really good option. So in this team, Trunda, Mikey, Ramattu, Archmage, Mithrala, and Donnie, or any full team reset champion. This just allows you to full cycle more often, which makes things a lot easier, and something that's really the hardest part of a Trunda team is making sure that you're full cycled. So that is just a little mock team you guys could take a look at. If you guys want to see me do an actual video on this team or a team like it, I'm more than happy to do that. It really does seem pretty easy to me. I don't think it would be too difficult to make this team work. I don't have Mikey booked, so I might have to get on an account that has Mikey booked, and all these champions are all champions, maybe Donnie actually, because if you do have Donnie in here, I think it's a bit more free to play friendly for you guys. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think on that. Hopefully this video did help you guys. If it did, consider liking, subscribing, letting me know what you guys would like to see in the future. Besides that, guys, if you do not already know, if we are able to hit 2,000 subscribers before the end of November, I will be doing a giveaway for a whole lot of account work, a total of $600. This is split up between 3 people, so $200 per person. I think is very, very solid to be giving away to you guys for free. All we need is a little bit of support and help the channel with some growth. So guys, I really do appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.